When Pilate said that he had the power to set Jesus free or the power to put him to death, Jesus told him that he had no authority except what had been given to him from heaven. Don't miss this. Jesus was not denying Pilate's authority. He was saying that the authority Pilate had was given by God. I think we need to learn the difference between agreement and submission. Jesus showed us how to be submitted to people you don't agree with. And yet we have become a people that only submit if we agree. One of the first things we learn from Jesus' life is that you cannot make disciples unless you are a disciple. Jesus led us because he followed. He didn't just give commands, he set the example. And I'm not sure, we are so careful to make sure we picture Jesus as perfect that we miss that he grew into his perfection. There was never any sin in him, but he wasn't born complete because the scripture says multiple times, he grew in wisdom, he grew in stature, he grew in the favor of God. So just like Adam and Eve weren't perfect in the garden, they just hadn't sinned yet, they still had to grow into that completeness and they failed because of their sin. Jesus was born without sin, and he grew into completion, into perfection. He shows us how to follow, not by his example as a leader, but by his example as a follower. In John chapter 5, Jesus said that he only did what he saw the Father doing. In John 12, he said that he only said the things that the Father commanded him to say. The disciples learned to follow Jesus by the way they saw Jesus follow the Father. But then this becomes the way of the scriptures, the way of the church. And it continues. In Acts 2:42, it says that the first church devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching. That means that they learned to follow Jesus by the way the apostles followed Jesus. Discipleship requires connection. It requires fellowship. Discipleship is not just us following Jesus, it's us walking together as we follow Jesus. Had Jesus not followed the Father, he could not have led the apostles. Had the apostles not followed Jesus, they could not have led the church. If the church had not followed the apostles, they could not have gone into all the world and made disciples. This might sound a little extreme, but the scriptures show us you can't rightly follow Jesus without following somebody that's already following Jesus. We were born to walk together.